Hello, in this short tutorial we'll see how to use array formulas. While the use of formula is very common in Microsoft Excel, it is surprising that many people don't even know that something like array formulas exist in Microsoft Excel. Here on this sheet I have pollutant values from two different dates separated by a month for some major Indian cities. These values represent air quality index for carbon monoxide, which I have downloaded from the Central Pollution Control Board website. Higher values indicate more pollution. So let's say my objective is to find out the highest single increase in pollution between these two dates. So the normal way to compute the differences between these two dates is as follows. We would go to a cell, an empty cell, and then we would just simply type in a formula, putting the later date first minus the previous date and making that calculation. Then we drag or copy the formula in the other cells, and then we go on to an empty cell and type in another formula, which is as follows, to find out what is the maximum increase, and compute that formula to arrive at a figure of 55, which is for Delhi. As you can see, in this normal way of computation, we require 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 formulae. The same problem can, however, be solved using just one formula, if that formula was to be an array formula. So let's see how we can introduce array formulas. But first I have to delete all these formulas that I have typed in earlier. Now I reach the cell where I want my answer, and then I'm going to type a formula, and that is going to be max. And this time around I'm going to choose a range, and I'm going to first choose the range which is from the later date minus the second range which is from the previous date. So as you can see, C7 to C13 is the first range, minus B7 to B13 is the second range. I'm going to close my max function, but this time around, to enter an array formula, instead of pressing enter, I will press Control, Shift and enter. And the moment I do that, my formula is surrounded by curly braces, indicating that this is an array formula. Excel understands it as an array formula, and here is my answer, same as before, but in exactly one formula, as opposed to 8 formulae in the previous calculation. It's important to note that while array formulas are shown with curly brackets, these curly brackets are inserted by Microsoft Excel, and you must never type these curly brackets yourself. The correct way of entering an array formula, therefore, is to write the formula in the normal way, starting with the equal to sign, then writing a formula, and then concluding the formula using Control, Shift, Enter. Therefore, many sources refer to such array formulas as CSE formulas also, which stands for Control, Shift and Enter. Now if you wanted to know what's going on behind the scenes, that is how Excel was able to compute this answer just in a single formula, what you can do is to come to the formula and highlight the cell range part of the formula and press F9. So you will see that all the intermittent calculations, that is 25 minus 80, which is minus 55, followed by 50 minus 87, which is minus 37, are held in memory and then using the max function, Excel has been able to pick the highest of these values, the maximum value of 55, and return that answer. It's important to note that an array formula does not operate on individual values or cells, rather than it operates on a range of cells, and that saves you a lot of computation. Let's look at another example. This is some sales data from a stationery shop. We have some items that have been sold, and the unit price of these items is as shown in this particular column, and the quantity that has been sold is shown in this column, and we want to calculate the total price. So the calculation is unit price multiplied by the quantity, and then repeat the same for the other cells. So let's try doing this computation using array formulas as we have learned. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to select all these cells where I want my results to appear. Next, I'm going to go to the formula bar and then type in my formula, but this time I'm going to select the first range multiplied by the second range. And remember that to make a formula into an array formula, you have to now press Control, Shift and Enter. And the moment you do that, you have your curly brackets indicating that Excel understands this as an array formula, and you also have your entire result. Now just a few more things about array formulas, some advantages. When you click on a cell, you will find that the formula is no different from any other cell, unlike as you would be accustomed to see in a normal Excel computation. So this is one important advantage which leads to consistency and accuracy. The second important advantage is that when you try to delete this formula, as I'm trying to do now by pressing the delete key, I cannot delete a part of this formula. So I cannot accidentally delete this formula. If I have to delete this formula, I'll have to choose the entire array and then press delete, without which I cannot delete this formula. So array formulas are very useful in business calculations, and it is worthwhile to spend time trying to understand how to use array formulas efficiently. Thanks for watching.